Hi, I'm Father Joseph Mary, and welcome back to A Simple Word, where we reflect on the gospel for the coming Sunday. This Sunday, we hear another of Jesus' parables, and perhaps the most difficult to interpret, the parable of the unjust steward. In his 3 years of teaching and preaching, Jesus used nearly 40 parables that we know about. They're all in one of the 4 Gospels. And about 1/3 of the parables deal with money. In one way or another, they deal with money or possessions. And that shouldn't be surprising to us, given that money plays such a dominant role in our lives. According to recent statistics, the average person spends more time thinking about money than anything else. How to acquire money, how to get more, how to spend it, how to invest it, whether to loan it. The reality is money is so much a part of the human experience that it often defines and dominates our lives. So it's no wonder that Jesus speaks so often about how we deal with money and possessions. I said before, this parable is difficult to interpret. In brief, the story goes something like this. There's a rich man who entrusted the management of his estate to a steward. The steward completely mismanages and abuses his position for his own benefit. And when the rich man learns of this, he tells the steward that he's going to fire him. But first he wants him to make a record of his misdeeds. So knowing that he's about to be thrown out on the streets, the steward goes to all those in debt to his master, and he secretly reduces what they owe him. He's cutting under the table deals to get in good with the debtors, so that he has someplace to go when he's fired. Now, when the rich man returns and he learns what his steward's been up to, what's his reaction? He commends him. He praises him for his shrewdness. Do you see why this parable is difficult to interpret? The steward is a mischievous and immoral man. The debtors are mischievous and immoral men. And the rich man is something of a rascal himself, praising the immoral behavior of all of them. What is this story even doing in the gospel? Why do we find it on the lips of Jesus? To answer that, we have to look much more closely at what's happening. First of all, the parable acts like a bridge between the story of the prodigal son and the story of the rich man and Lazarus. It's placed right after the story of the prodigal son because this is a prodigal steward. Prodigal means wasteful. And just as in the story of the prodigal son, this parable ends with a shocking twist. Let's try to nail down the who, the what, the when, and the where so that we can get to the why. The parable begins, a rich man had a steward. First off, this wasn't just a man of means. This was a man of incredible wealth. How do we know this? Because he was at a distance from his whole operation, and people owe him massive amounts of money. He's hired a steward or manager to take care of all the assets of his operation because he's not around. This was very common for the wealthy in Palestine in the time of Jesus. These people had a lot of operations going on, and they often hired different managers to take care of all aspects of their various enterprises. Now we come to the steward. The word translated as steward is from the Greek, oikonomos, which is a combination of the Greek words for law and house. So this steward has the law of the house. He's the one given authority to act on behalf of the rich man. He manages the land, the crops, the assets, the debts. He disperses the resources, the food, the water, whatever's necessary for running this whole operation. He's an important man, a man with incredible responsibility, and a man with status. Now we soon learn that this steward, he's a rascal. He's been squandering the rich man's property. And learning of this, the rich man calls him to task. What has he heard about this steward? Some pretty bad stuff. Because the word translated as reported is the Greek word diabolophron. The same word can be translated as diabolical. So the steward wasn't just sleeping on the job or clocking out a few minutes early. He was doing some really evil stuff. So what does the rich man do? He does one of the most incredible and stupid things in the whole story. He tells this corrupt, diabolical steward to go and prepare an account of his misdeeds because he can no longer be the steward. It would be like you finding out your accountant has been embezzling money and then telling him to go and make a list of all the funds he's defrauded because you're going to fire him in 2 weeks. Would you really trust this guy to give an honest accounting? Doesn't make any sense. So what does the steward do? He knows he's losing his job, and not just his position. He's losing his house. He's losing his source of food, his means of protection. He's losing his status. He's losing everything. And so he says to himself, what should I do? He's not strong enough to dig. He's too proud to beg, but he's got to go somewhere. He has to have a place to live, an income. He's got to have a future. So he gets an idea. He summons the people in debt to his master. Luke gives us just a couple examples, but the sense of the text is that these actions were prolific. To the first person summoned, the steward asks, how much do you owe my master? And he responds, 100 measures of oil. That's a lot of olive oil. We're talking nearly 1,000 gallons. This was worth something near 3 years' wages and would have taken 150 olive trees to produce. This is a massive debt. So what does the steward do? He says, sit down quickly and write a promissory note for 50. He cuts the debt in half. And the debtor's elated. He couldn't write that note fast enough. Then he approaches another debtor. The same question. How much do you owe? And he says, I owe 100 cores of wheat. That's about 1,000 bushels of wheat, and would have taken over 100 acres to produce in a span of nearly 8 years. This too is a massive debt. And once again, the steward gives him a 20% discount. And again, the man can't write the note fast enough. What is the steward doing? He's guaranteeing his future. He's making friends from dishonest wealth. He's securing his place with the rich and the powerful because he needs a place to go when he loses everything. And these people, they're going to remember the favors. Now we come to the shocking twist at the end of the parable. Upon returning and learning of his steward's diabolical scheme, the master commends him for acting prudently. The steward has just bilked him out of a fortune, and he praises him for securing his future. What is Jesus doing in all of this? He's taking the story, a situation that was all too common at the time, something these people could relate to very easily, and he's teaching them the truth about God. He's comparing and contrasting the children of this world with the children of light. The children of this world are those consumed with the things of this world. Like the steward, all their thought and energy and time, it's giving to securing their place in this world, and they're good at it. Some of them are really good at it. The children of light are those who call themselves disciples of Jesus Christ. And Jesus is telling them, would that you were so intrepid and ingenious, so scheming as to secure your place in heaven. Would that you spent so much time and energy and focus on the kingdom of God as they do on the kingdom of men. There's a strong message for us in this gospel, a message and a warning. Where is our focus? Where is our heart? How do you spend your time and your energy and your resources? Because we're either focused on securing our place in the world or we're focused on securing our place in the kingdom of God. Jesus is clear. You cannot serve two masters. Your primary focus is one or it's the other. And that's the question the gospel asks us this Sunday. Where is your heart? Who's your master? I'm Father Joseph Marion. Thanks for listening to A Simple Word. If you found this reflection helpful, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.